Well, good morning. My name is Jim Jacoby. I'm here with Linda Smith, and we are co-chairs of the Together in Faith campaign for our church. The reaching responsibilities include reporting the progress of the campaign and to celebrate milestones. We also have a opportunity for a first fruit offering, and I'll talk about that just a little bit later.
Thank you, Jim. We are sitting underneath a lovely tree that has symbols of the fruit of the Spirit. You've been hearing Pastor Kim preach about that for the last few weeks. You know, trees represent many, many things throughout our lives. I believe a tree was actually a symbol in the initial campaign. I think trees also provide shelter. They provide shelter for animals, and they provide shelter for humans. They protect us from the sun. They protect us from the wind. And trees have long, long lives. Generally, people think that a tree will live longer than the individuals who planted them. Now, I see the people who had the foresight to begin a church in Nottoway County in the late 1800s. At that time, it was a Methodist Episcopal church. But I see them as having the foresight to plant a church congregation here. A church that they wanted to be here so that they could worship God, so they could connect with the community. I believe they had a lot of faith, and that faith continues on today and can be seen in the congregation. In fact, if you take a look at the cornerstone in the original building, this building was started, was begun, was built. So it's an honor to be able to continue the legacy.
Well, thank you, Linda. You see a picture in front of you now that was our vision in 2014. When you look at that space, it's a beautiful green space, but I'm reminded of what that space looked like just a few years prior to that, you know, when the Agape House was there, when the theater building was there, the Best Brands building, the Covenco building, the Firestone building, where the gazebo is located. You know, today we have a wonderful facility with new gathering space, an elevator that connects all the floors of our church, new restrooms, and a remodeled education area to be used in the ministry of our church.
Lots of good things.
Absolutely.
You know, I don't know if you realize, but Ken and I have been in this community only since the June 2016. However, we've been around Maryville our whole lives. We graduated from Bedford High School. Ken and I both attended Northwest Missouri State University. Our farm is in Blockton, Iowa. And when we moved to Maryville and we're looking at a place to become affiliated with as our local church home, there were things that drew us here. We're familiar with that theater that Jim just talked about. We actually used to go to movies there. And we had watched over the years how the area right around this building has changed. We were actually in this building whenever we provided the music for Jim and Jonna Beamer's wedding. But we hadn't been in the building for other reasons than that. So when we got here in 2016, we started thinking about where we wanted to attend church. And some things were obvious to me. It was obvious to me that any time I drove by the parking lot, it was full. Whether that was on a Sunday morning, a Wednesday evening. I've learned since that there are people who are able to use this church, or at that point before COVID days, use this church for their local meetings. I know you sponsor Boy Scouts organization that meets here. Habitat for Humanity has taken advantage of being able to meet here. This church reaches into the community. Also, it was very, very obvious to me, even just driving by, the care that had been taken into the construction of what, like Jim just mentioned, became the gathering space, the elevator, all those really fine additions. Because the brick matches, the archways and the doors and the windows are there. The integrity of the building itself has taken care whenever that design was made. And the stained glass windows. I can look up and still see the beauty of the stained glass windows that have been here for generations. You can even still see them from the gathering space, the way that courtyard's designed. And I'm telling you, personally, I find that impressive. Because when you undertook this campaign, which we're now part of, it was intentional. It didn't just happen. It was a way that I believe you all are continuing the faith that the people who planted this church here had in you, to be able to play a role in a community, to be able to worship God, and actually to be the hands and feet of Christ. I think that's what's going on. I think that's what's happening.
Well, thanks, Linda. One of the things I talked about earlier was the first fruit offering. That's part of our responsibility to make the congregation aware of that. And the purpose of that is to encourage everyone to begin fulfilling their campaign commitments and to receive a significant amount of money to be applied to our bank note and expenses. You'll be receiving a letter this coming week with the first fruit envelope. Please prayerfully consider what you can do and return the envelope to the church by Thursday, November the 5th. On Sunday, November the 8th, will be Announcement Sunday, and we'll be announcing all the campaign results as of that date. As was mentioned last Sunday, Mike and Karma said we already have around $250,000 in pledges. So big thank you to everyone who has supported this previous campaigns, who are going to be supporting this campaign, and we're excited to begin the campaign soon. As Paul shared with us in 2 Corinthians 9:7, God loves a cheerful forgiver. The generosity of each and every one of you is very much appreciated, and I am confident, together in faith, the debt will be eliminated.
Thank you.